Hey folks, this may be blasphemous to some people, but you do not need fences like Fort Knox to keep goats in. 2 strands of hot wire will keep goats in, and I made a separate video where I talked about that, and it's actually 2-part, and you should really watch both parts if you're interested in that. For my temporary fence setup, unlike most folks, I do not use polynetting. I find polynetting to be very expensive, very cumbersome to work with, very relatively maintenance intensive actually. I instead just use 2 strands of polywire on reels just like you see here. And this is just a quick demonstration setup. I don't, normally if I was setting up a full 1/4 mile of this stuff, which this is enough to set up a 1/4 mile, I would, drag it behind the UTV and then, drive the UTV back and set up, posts periodically and everything. For this quick demonstration though, I'm just paying it out by hand, as you can see. A big thing with netting, most folks that I know that use the netting, they mow a path to put the netting on. If you can't tell, I don't do that. I just run it through whatever's there, and I let the fence charger burn off whatever vegetation is there. Obviously here it is mowed because this is the front yard in front of the house, and this is just, like I said, a quick demo, and I thought this would be a decent area where you could kind of see the whole process without a bunch of awkward camera work. So what else was I going to say? Oh yeah, so that's worth mentioning. Part of the reason I'm making this video and the one after this is I'm upgrading my temporary fencing equipment. This is all the newer stuff right here that you're seeing. And the price range on this on a per foot basis is, if it's the lower cost stuff, it gets down to about 20 cents per foot. If it's the really high end stuff, it gets about 50 cents per foot. The stuff I'm using here, it's towards the higher end of that spectrum. It's about 40 to 45 cents per foot. If you compare that to poly netting, I'll let you look that up, but that stuff's several times more expensive than that on a per foot basis. For probably about the only thing that's slightly obnoxious is, this part right here, generally do just hand reel it up. I know a lot of people will say, oh, you could hook a drill up to them or whatever. And I've messed around with that in the past and honestly just found it to be more cumbersome than it is helpful. So, but yeah, that's about it for this video for me talking. Like I said, this is kind of just a voiceover video. I'm just sitting in the house right now recording this. But just kind of a little continuation of the series about keeping goats in with 2 strands of hot wire. When it comes to temporary fencing, you can do the same thing. You can do it with 2 strands of polywire. So keep an eye out for that next video where I will be showing off in a lot more detail a lot of this equipment much more close up, including comparing some of the high end and low end stuff and telling you what I found and why I'm upgrading.